Sounds so cool. Okay, yeah. Yo, what's good, Nami? Talking sort of quiet, but yo, what's up, what's up? Let me know if the music is too loud. Because since it's the morning, I want to be quiet. I got my roommate next door. And usually art streams are kind of, you know, vibey. Sounds good to you? Okay, sick. And I gotta do a dang thing. Alright, did I already put the... Yeah, it's the same one. Okay. Great. Nearly it's relative. It's, you know, it's a little relative to time zones. Are you enjoying a nice end of the day dinner on your end? Blat. Oh my god. On my Twitch profile it says I'm 27 years old. It's only a few months before that's not true anymore. Put up a shelf. Was that like... Was it a difficult shelf or was it like pretty straightforward? No, I'm 28 and in a few months I'll be 29. Oh, difficult? Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I used to work at this factory place, I was helping in the office set up some desks for the office workers. Older than you? Oh, no, I guess not. I do look older than a lot of people assume, but I am still technically in my 20s. I'm getting close to 30 though. I'll get there. I'll be an old man eventually. Okay, which one do I want to start with? Well, this one's kinda... Yeah, okay, I was already working on this one. Might as well. 29 next year. Ooh. Okay, so we're actually similar then. Yeah. I'm just like a little bit older than you. Okay. Yeah, but that's still like nothing. People get really hung up on age, I'll admit. Okay. Yeah, but that's still like... Oh, goodness sake, shut up, mate. I just flipped over tabs to my own Twitch. Okay. Just gonna pop this in announcements. Alright, boom. All the usual places. Boom, boom. Boom. And... Streaming, bada boom. Okay. Now I can get to work proper. Gotta get some food, we'll be back. Yeah. Well, good luck cooking. Oh my goodness, my settings. Oh noes, my settings. They're fucked up. Ugh. Just gonna change this. And go back here again. And then... Bliat. Okay, that was the same link. This was a useless endeavor. Whatever. Alright, I'm getting to work then. Only doing pasta? Dude, the most challenging thing to do. The only thing more challenging is cereal. Now this morning I made rice and eggs. Second cup of coffee now. In my big ass, oh, check this out. I wonder if you can see it. It's not really. It is it's Cuphead though. Can you sort of make that out? Yeah, see? I had this printed at that aforementioned construction job. We had like a laser machine, a laser engraving machine, and I got them to put Cuphead on it because I was playing it at the time. Oh, hey, Webb. Hi. What's good? Okay. Yeah, at this point I'm drawing heads. I'll make a folder, call it. So one thing about drawing comics is I separate folders. I separate the backgrounds from the characters because that's sort of, I feel like you should do that anyways. But that's also what I do when I animate, because usually the background isn't doing anything, it's just static and the character is moving around. But yeah, so the folder that I call for background is just BG. When I have a foreground folder, I call it FG, and then that one goes on top, both the background folder and the character folder. And for character, I call it Kara, because Undertale, and I'm a nerd. Also, it's easier than spelling out the entire character. I could just call it C, but who does that? Yeah, and then I have, you may see the little reds here. For character, I make it a blue folder. Background, I make it purple. And then every line, I make red, and I call it line. And then, for color, I have a... Can you see that what comes up? No, you can't. I have one box that is gray, and the other one is yellow. Because the gray is a base that I lay down, and then the yellow is a color that kind of attaches on to the gray, so that if I make any mistakes with coloring, I haven't fucked up the base. It's all. This is all like. This is all stuff that like tutorials have just hammered into me over the many years. I get the impression people have loads of different ways of drawing and setting up pages, but this just makes the most sense to me. It's also relevant to, or rather, it's also easier for me to separate things like the color from the line art. I know some people go lineless, so this whole principle that I'm talking about would need a totally different system if you don't even use lines. But I specifically use what's called vector lines, which means that if I zoom in real close, right now I'm making the line thicker. That looks nicer. And then if I grab onto the line, you can see all these little dots. This is because it's a vector line, meaning that even though I've just made the stroke, I can manipulate it in very, very precise ways, because there's like a bunch of dots all over it. So I like the ability to edit my lines. And that is basically why I always start with lines, and I never do lineless. Even though lineless looks very good, I just don't really play with it. I probably could though in Toon Boom, because Toon Boom is much easier at editing the lines. Like I could animate an entire sequence and then just grab every single line without even touching the colors, and then just make those lines the same color as the character. So it would be like it's lineless. I don't know, at this point I'm just rambling. Just nerding out about what Toon Boom can do. I've been using it so much more lately to do commission stuff, and I just finished a collab project that was fun. It was if anyone's ever heard of the Angry Beavers, there was like an episode that never aired. I need some more water. There was an episode that never aired of the Angry Beavers where they were, I guess it was supposed to be like the last episode. They become self-aware that they're like cartoon characters, and they just make like a big joke of that for the whole episode. It was like oddly irreverent, but for whatever reason it never came to pass. Like, there was some time in the episode where the two beavers started addressing each other by their voice actor names. Like, they're just saying shit like, "But Daniel, that makes no sense. I mean, And that's cool. So there's like this collab where people are actually putting it to some visuals. Because at this point, there's only audio and like there's the full audio, and then there's just the storyboard. So people have come together to make their own visuals. And I did a very, very short segment on it, and I may want to do another. Because I love animating, and I always consistently forget how much I love animating until I do a little project. Oh! Fucking A. Yeah, whenever it comes to eyes, you need to incorporate for the eyelash. It's such a subtle thing, but at the top of your eye all the time there's going to be like just this little dark line. Even now on like this blurry ass webcam, you can still kind of see the subtle darkness. Even though I can't even see the color in my eye, it all just looks like blackness. I can still see like a little of black. And I don't really want to draw like every eyelash. There's some art styles I see where they love fixating on the eyelashes. There's quite a few art styles that fixate on interesting things that I would just never do. And they look good. Like, these artists that I see who make these choices, they make them because they look good, because they know what they're doing. But it's like, it's not something that I could ever or want to ever replicate. There was I went to Anime Central back in 2016 or 2017. And I was going around the shops. There's this thing called like Artist Alley. If you've ever been to a convention ever, you'll know about Artist Alley. It's just a big section of the convention hall where they're selling just all this like art, posters, plushies, and shirts. They sell like a lot of shirts, mostly posters and stuff, but big on shirts. You know what's funny? At the time that I was going there, that was like the height of the brony hype, if anyone remembers that, which I imagine you would. I don't know if Webb is still watching, but he definitely remembers some of the brony hype, because I remember talking to him about it when it was going on. I think I talked to him about it back in 2014, though. I wasn't into MLP at the time, although there's a part of me that almost wishes I was. I only recently started watching the show with my boyfriend the last time he came over last summer. And I really did enjoy the show for what it's worth. It's definitely like simple, and I think there was a huge part of the fandom that was losing their absolute goddamn minds over the show, analyzing it way too hard and giving it way too much credit. But for what they were trying to do, it was still pretty entertaining. As a person that really loved Gravity Falls, I can totally see why you would get into something like MLP. Oh, yeah. Very simple but heartwarming and fun. Yeah. On top of... This is kind of... I didn't even realize this does sound like ASMR, isn't it? I'm just trying to be quiet so that my roommate doesn't wake up. But hey, you know what? I'll roll with it. Yeah. Yeah, no, on top of watching MLP, I was also shown a couple, like, reviews, because my boyfriend was also just in the fandom, like, watching, like, reviews and theories and, like, reading up on fan fiction and stuff. So we wanted to share a bit of his life with me, and I appreciated that. And some of these reviews were very fascinating, because they got so inspired by something that really wasn't trying to be profound, I feel. I think they may have tried to be, like, more intelligent than your average children's media. But this one review that I saw was talking about, like, how they were like basically taking inspiration from the Bible, like an old story of, like, the devil that hid in plain sight, and how, like, a character that was written to be, like, this beloved character was actually going to be revealed as, like, the greatest enemy in, like, the final chapters, and how disappointed they were that that didn't come true. And the thing is, like, that would be kind of neat if they did that, but based on my recollection of the very episodes they were talking about, there was just no way that's where they were going with that, and it was such a stretch. I will say though, in their defense, they themselves posited this theory with the understanding that it was a stretch, but that it would be very cool. So I'll give them full credit on that. But yes, the MLP craze I always have, like, odd nostalgia for, because I just remember so many people being a part of that phenomenon, and all the, like, fun art that came out of it, even though I wasn't necessarily a part of it. And I remember at the time going to Anime Central, and I was walking around looking at all the artwork. In fact, 2016 Anime Central was the first anime convention I'd ever been to, and it was really awesome. It's a crazy thing when you're interested in things like anime, cartoon, animations, art, stuff like this, but your interests seem to be restricted to people that you know on the internet. And that's it. Like, there was no one that I could go to down the street that I knew of that was into the same stuff I was. It's kind of a lonely existence. So going to a convention, all of a sudden, you just meet lots of dudes that you can kind of relate to. Everybody is still a stranger, but you have that odd thread of relatability between each other. Like, walking around the convention, I remembered pointing at, like, some Yu Yu Hakusho poster and being like, you know, oh my god, it's Yusuke! And this guy was just walking by me, and he just like looked at me and was like, he said something to the effect of, like, yeah man, Yusuke is the biggest, the strongest, and the bestest. No one's gonna bring him down. He always gets up. Always. I was like, yeah man. Yeah, he sure does. And he kept walking off, and he's like, always gets up. And I love that. That was like a very wholesome little like moment between two strangers, but at the time I felt like a bit of an imposter because I hadn't watched nearly enough Yu Yu Hakusho. At that point I'd probably seen like the first 2 arcs. I hadn't even gotten to the big one that everyone loves. Is it called the... It's not called the Shadow Tournament. It's called the Dark Tournament arc or something. Whatever it's called. I have finally seen that one, and I get why people really like it. Very cool. A lot of really awesome character development went down there. Yeah, I remember getting so invested in anime that I'd never watched. Like, I really did admire Yu Yu Hakusho just because of its art and not because of its writing. It took me a very long time to finally watch it earnestly and actually understand the characters involved. It's a very good show, it is. It has one arc, though, that I will say felt like a gigantic waste of time. And it's the arc before the Dark Tournament arc, where they go to some, like, demon's house and just beat him up for some reason. I don't know why that was necessary, and I didn't really... I remember getting very bored watching it. The one afterwards was pretty good, though. That show really relies on their characters, which, you know, maybe relies is a mean word, because that implies that they have so little to offer. It's not true, though. They fixate a lot on their characters. Yusuke Kuwabara, Hiei, and... oh gosh, I always forget his stupid name. I'm looking this up. This is bullshit. Yu Hakusho character. What are your stupid names? Kurama. Motherfucker, Kurama. You stupid bitch. With your stupid name and your beloved fan base of nerds. My boyfriend also loves Kurama. I don't dislike Kurama either, but he's not my favorite. My favorite is Kuwabara. And I wish Kuwabara wasn't treated like such a fucking joke. He's great. He loves his girlfriend. And his girlfriend loves him. And I think that's cute. And he just wants to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I want to say Kuwabara's English voice actor, I want to say that his English voice actor had his like breakout role as playing Kuwabara. If you've ever heard Kuwabara's voice, you've probably heard it in a million other things. He's the squad captain. The English voice actor also plays the squad captain in Mob Psycho 100, the big beefy one with black hair. He plays Nekomaru in Danganronpa 2. Oh gosh, and like a million other things that I can't place right now. But yeah, that guy's just like everywhere. And I really, really love his voice. I try so hard to replicate it because it's such a like fun, lively, gravelly, like manly voice. Very iconic. I remember I did a dub. I did a dub for Zelda Universe back in the day for their Link's Awakening dub. And I had a whole episode basically to myself. I played 2 different characters. I played I played 2 characters. I played a ghost and I played I played the villain, who was like this pig warrior. And the ghost name was Nakuda. And the pig warrior, I don't remember his name. I only remember Nakuda because I had a line where I was like, "My name is Nakuda." And I had to say that quite a few times so I could just get the right inflection. And I really liked that one project. It's a shame though, I never worked with Zelda Universe afterwards. There was never any like projects that I could sign up for. I don't know what the hell they're doing now. I'm still on their Discord, but I just haven't followed any of their projects. I remember Zelda Universe was doing a dub for Skyward Sword, which must have come out by now, because they talked about doing it like, what, 3 years ago, I think? Yeah, and we were in like a meeting together, and they were saying like, you know, oh yeah, anyone that wants to like audition for such and such, you'll be contacted about it. And I was saying like, oh man, I'd like to audition for Groose. And I remembered everyone just like basically scoffing because they're like, everyone wants to do Groose. You can't just say, I'm gonna do Groose. Everyone is gonna try and do Groose. And guess what? I didn't get Groose. But hey, whatever. I already did Groose. I did Groose for my buddy Plotline Plus's Skyward Sword dub that I still quite like. I wish I had a better mic when I recorded my Groose lines, but I think I did a pretty good job. Especially since that was much earlier in my voice acting timeline. Yeah, you know what? I'll copy paste this shit, who cares? Okay. Boop, boop. Yeah, you know, there were quite a few projects that I was a part of, and I was really proud of my performances, and then they just never happened. There was one in particular I remember, where I played like a villain. It was like a comic dub for what I believe was a manga from China. And we were, and I was playing a like snobby lieutenant that spent like half the story trying to find this like main character girl. And he was like kind of a creep, and he was sort of an ass, and he had a lot of like loony moments that I really love to do because I love to shout. And I was really, I got so into that role. And I did every single line. I just went through because my character is only in there for like half of the manga. And it's not a very long manga either. So, because our project had no director, they just said like, you know, okay, here's the manga, and we'll let you know when we need lines for this episode and that episode. And so I just went through the whole manga and recorded all of my lines. And I would go back and I'd be like, oh, that line's not good enough, or I'll just go it again. I basically just like self-directed myself into getting all the lines done because I got really excited. This is very early on, and I was starting to get better as a voice actor. So I just wanted to seize that hype, ride on my own little hype train. And yeah, so I got to watch my own character like develop until his very last scene. And then I turned in all my lines, and about a month later, the director said, "Hey, this is just really hard, so we're not doing this project." It's not even his fault. He was saying, like, I've never done a comic dub before, and this is just like a lot of work, so yeah, sorry, this is just done. And I was disappointed for sure, but I couldn't blame the guy. I don't even know how old this guy was. This guy could be like in college right now and trying to like juggle this along with a comic dub. It's just a lot to ask of yourself. And the more you work with voice acting groups, the more often you'll hear these stories where creative types, usually when they're a lot younger, in fact, pretty much always when you're a lot younger, you want to like start some project, you want to get into some talent, and you'll be really hype about it. And then you'll have to face the difficulty that you never even knew was there. I had to deal with that a lot. I definitely faced that when it came to doing reviews, sure. But I think the hardest part, and you definitely see this with comic dubs too, is when you need to micromanage other people. Because it's one thing to undertake something so difficult when you're so young, but it's quite another to get other people to do things for you when they're as young as you or even younger. And I bring up age because I think it really does matter. You can be like young and determined, but I feel like older me is more willing to stick to a project than younger me was. And I feel like I see that reflected in a lot of younger creatives that I've either met at colleges or online. Even now, I still do projects, whether it be like voice acting or art or whatever, and I'll join Discords run by dudes who are in like their early 20s, and I just want to work on the project, but you get all this like drama and infighting, and it's very unprofessional, and I don't much care for it, but you try to stay away from that because you don't want to get caught up in that stuff. And also because I definitely was no better when I was in my early 20s. Yeah, so I have no authority to like shame anyone or start talking to a bunch of strangers I don't know. Yeah, independent projects can get really wild. Sometimes you really just need to get lucky with the team you work with. You need to have people that will stay like determined and are first and foremost doing it for a creative venture and nothing more. You bump into like a lot of egos when you're working in like a creative, I don't want to say industry exactly, because working independent doesn't really feel like an industry, but I don't know, maybe it's the same thing. Point is though, you bump into a lot of egotists, and you yourself are at risk of being an egotist as well. Struggle to start, and yeah. It's reassuring to know that everyone kind of struggles though. I beat myself up all the time because the game reviews never really worked out. But it was a genuine struggle to keep up with it. Those that can, keep up those consistent uploads and find like new things to do every time they have such a strong willpower, more so than I think people can comprehend. Because one thing I bump into, even now, because now I'm uploading a lot more. I'm like there's the blind dubs, and then there's just like little things I put here and there. I consistently bump into the same thing. And it was the same thing that I felt even back when I did the game reviews. And it was that I can upload a project. I can upload like a fun idea that I had. And then I can upload like another that's similar. And then I can do like another one after that. But when am I going to stop doing that? When's the end? When am I done? When's the end of the story? And that was probably like the hardest part of doing game reviews, was that there was no end in sight, and I didn't know why I wanted an end in sight. Because being creative is kind of hard. So you almost want to know, hey, how long is this going to go on for before I can know that it's done and I'm satisfied? But that's not how art works. I got done. I was done when I finished the first project, and the second project, and the third. They may be kind of similar, but they're all different projects that had an ending. I'm just intentionally starting a new one. So that's all it is. And it's hard to accept that, because it almost feels like you're just always working. And it's not something that like you can explain to someone, because it's all in your head. It's all like a psychology, and honestly a philosophy that you need to create for yourself. Because see, I'm starting to get out of that funk. I'm starting to think less about that. And what really helped, believe it or not, is this dumbass comic. It's not dumbass. It's really nice, honestly. But this comic is 150 pages, and I started it at the beginning of 2021. We're almost at the end of 2022. It's taken me 2 years, and I'm nearing its end. Nearing. If I keep up with my schedule, I'll be done in April of 2023, which is insane. But it took so long because I had to get over that struggle, that feeling of like, oh my god, I just finished like 10 pages. Am I done yet? Am I done yet? I want to move on. Make it stop. And really, what helped was getting into a mode where it's not scary, where like the workload doesn't feel as intimidating. And the longer I worked on this comic, the easier it became. Like at the beginning of this stream, I talked about my system, where like I break down characters, backgrounds, character folder, then like the line folders and the base and the color and all that good shit. And I definitely had that when I started this, but I was not consistent until I started making the comic. I didn't stick to these rules until I absolutely had to, because I was doing it every single day. And in creating that discipline, that's what made me grow up, finally, I feel. That's what separated me from the me in my early 20s. Because I'm still doing, in the physical sense, I'm still doing the same exact thing as what I did when I lived with my parents, when I was making like reviews or even just like regular drawings. It's the same thing. But I needed to grow up here. And I didn't know how to back then. And it wasn't exactly clear. Sorry, Puffy, you wrote a thing a while ago. I was on a tangent. You're excited to feel the soul-crushing struggles. Well, it will definitely come, no matter what, if you stick to your arts. And actually, even if you don't stick to your arts, I feel like everyone has some kind of struggle in life. Because life just has challenges. are not... They will be something you're afraid of in the moment, but they will not kill you. And they will not ruin your life either. But it will feel that way. I'll say that. As a guy that has... They are an experience, yeah, I agree. As a guy that has horrible anxiety, things often feel so much worse than they are. And everyone deals with their anxiety differently. But I often try to fall back on logic and tell myself, like, you know, okay, in, like, whatever I'm experiencing now is similar to what I've dealt with before. So it's not like this is a brand new thing. And if it is a brand new thing, how is it comparable to something I've experienced before? Like, try and understand it from an angle that I already know. And over the years, I've gotten a lot better at that. Experiences are just, you know, they have to exist. Because that's the human condition, isn't it? You live, so you can fill your life with meaning. Wasn't it? I love that saying that I feel like some people take for granted. The meaning of life is a life of meaning. Which is to say that if you're searching for meaning in your life, then that is your own meaning of life. Like, the only thing you can do while you're alive is just, like, live it and fill it with experiences. But to say that you need, like, meaning and purpose in your life is pretty much what you're just going to be doing forever. And if you can enjoy that road to some capacity, then great. In my opinion, that's living life proper. The purpose of life is to live. I thought it was 42. Yeah, okay, fine. It can be both. We can make I can make a shirt on teespring.com that's 42. And then inside of the 42 is the words life of meaning. It's early. I'm drinking more coffee. I honestly don't drink coffee that much. Oh god, it's getting a little bitter. Maybe I should fill it with some milk. I'm staring at my bowl of soup. It's got milk in it. Why not? My dad, anytime I bring him to like a coffee place, or anytime we bring him to a restaurant at all, he will always tell the same story of how he took a straw and he put a straw inside of a cup full of like water or soda or whatever, and he would like pinch his finger on the top of the straw. I'm sure you've done this before. It's pretty normal. And you lift the straw up and there's a liquid in the straw. And because you have your finger on the top part of the straw, it like holds it in because of a suction. And then he would like put it inside my little baby mouth and let go of his finger, and then the water or the soda would just go down. It's a fun, wholesome little memory, but he always tells it. He's a very old man too, so I think sometimes he just genuinely forgets. Inside the words is an eggplant web. No. No. The meaning of life is eggplant. What time is it? Okay. I'm also so surprised how easy it is to draw now compared to how it was for me before. So those that are creative, I hope that you look back on your progress, because it may not be obvious when you first start out, but you do make advancements, even in subtle ways. Like the shit I'm doing right now, where it's just like, yep, done. Yeah, okay, done. Yep, yeah, okay. Yeah, done, that looks good. Boop, yep, done. It's like I could never do that when I was, let's say, like 24. 24 me would be like, no. 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 Like, I was so fast back then. Nowadays I have, like, the hand, I guess, dexterity to just do it nice and slow and evenly. Also, when you draw, or actually, honestly, when you do anything, you need to learn how to settle, how to just tell yourself, like, that looks good. That's good. I think when I'm first starting out, I was terrified to do it wrong and look like a fool. I was horrified at being embarrassed. I still really am, and I hate that because it's so useless. When I would turn in art and I'd think like, oh man, it looks really shitty, I was so self-conscious about it. So if I felt like a line was weird looking, a line, you know, like there's so much more to art than just the line work, but I would get so hung up on like, oh, is that line weird? Is this weird? Is that weird? I think that's why I prefer using like vector lines, because I can change, I can do a lot of like editing even when I just lay down the line. You know, like I can move it, I can make like little adjustments like that, I can adjust the width. Clip Studio Paint's great. Great. Fear of doing badly at something and then also wanting it to be perfect. I remember, I would intentionally give myself like a challenge to do. When I was working on Emerald Eyes, I wanted the main character to be a girl because I didn't know how to draw girls. And what that led to was a million situations where I drew the main character Meryl like completely wrong. And then I felt embarrassed as if someone was looking at my drawing right now when I was completely alone and judging it. The only one judging it was me in my head. It's a ridiculous standard to hold yourself to. To think like when you mess up in the privacy of your own room that you've given up and you need to like lie down. But it does really succumb you sometimes. Or wait, succumb you? Come? Can't be right. You succumb to it. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the trade, babe. Yeah. Well, no, but I feel like it's something you need to overcome, though. Something you need to work at. I never liked the standard that it's like, yeah, that's just what you live with. It's hell on earth. You know, welcome to it. I've always hated that. Because it feels like oddly, strangely enough, it feels kind of gatekeepy. Like it's like, man, this trade is the Dark Souls of life. And if you can't handle it, then get out. I always try to think of like ways to overcome fears like that and not just assume it to be how my life is now that I enjoy doing it. Because truthfully, it's there, but there's ways that you can, you know, work through it, live with it. I remember I had horrible anxiety for a large part of my life, and I still really do, but it's so much better now. And a lot of what went into that is just adjusting my philosophy. I know lots of people, even people that are like much older than me, that just are miserable and are like totally fine being miserable. And I just can't. I mean, maybe they're happy that way. Maybe they're happy being miserable. But to me, I could never do that. That's like, I mean, not to get dark, but that's like the difference between life and death with me. A life of misery is not one I'd want to live, if you catch my drift. So I don't want to, I never like to succumb to that, I never like to succumb to my anxiety or my depression. I want to work against it. I want to put thoughts, I want to put like encouragement in my head and sensibility and logic. Things that boost me up, because there's always something that wants to push you down. And even logic can sometimes work against you. I guess, like, what do you call that? Being mindful? Yeah, I remember that word being passed around a lot. It was, I think it was 2019 that I started going into, like, meditation. Meditation was okay. I'll say that much. I definitely get why people really like it. But it's not something I really need to do anymore. Come to think of it, I didn't get into meditation until 2020. I suppose we all know why that was. I even got, I wonder if anyone else has done this, I even got a meditation app. You ever heard of those? I don't want to say they're a scam, but I could definitely see why someone would call them a scam. Because it's basically the same thing. It's just you have an instructor that's in your ear telling you what motions to go through when you meditate. But see, after listening to it for the past like 2 months that I had the app, it's kind of the same thing. Because meditation is just you sitting still and letting your thoughts kind of wash over you. And you can get good at that. But once you memorize the steps, it's kind of the same thing. It's sort of like working out, except working out, you're working out separate muscles. Meditation, it's all kind of the same practice, I feel. Or at least the one that I saw on the app. It never seemed to progress, you know, so I stopped spending money on that. Hey Jojo. I feel like in life we can be our own worst enemy, being fearful about the future and things that hasn't happened yet or will never happen. It's very possible. I feel like we want to be cautious, and I don't think that's like a negative, thing to do. I think our brain's very smart for wanting to protect us. As a matter of fact, disassociation. Hey Mario. Disassociation is just your brain trying to protect you from emotional damage. Emotional damage. Sorry, fucking TikTok meme. But that is what that's what it is when you disassociate. Holy shit. 2014, I had the worst disassociation problems. Fucking terrible. Oh god, I legit thought I was in a dream for like a month. That's a scary feeling. There was a Dark Souls of animation industry. It's probably anime. Spending every day animating thousands of frames per episode as best you can under all that pressure. Say what you will about the Western animation industry. At least we're finding shortcuts. At least we're doing things like 2D model rigging. At least we're like using AI to make like lip sync for us. The Dark Souls of animation is so correct, because Dark Souls is basically old school gaming brought to the modern age. Anime, modern anime, is just old school 2D frame by frame animation in the modern age, which I'm just gonna say it. Hayao Miyazaki is completely wrong. 2D frame by frame animation needs shortcuts. It needs them. Unless you want to hire so many bodies to just do every single frame by frame. If you want to do that, I guess, but it's really expensive. And you know what? I'm just going to say it's inhumane. It's sweatshop work. It's ridiculous, and you don't need to. There's been lots of programs. There was even a program that was they were trying to sell it to Studio Ghibli, and I'm just gonna say they probably shouldn't have tried to sell this to Studio Ghibli because they were not going to go with it. They were trying to sell I guess it's a software that fills in betweens for your animation. I'm sure like some of you have probably seen that clip because it's kind of legendary, where Miyazaki berates these guys and says they don't know anything about life and they're like so disrespectful to the medium for wanting to make like AI that can do these in-betweens. And I'm just over here like, I think it's useful. I think it's so useful. And if you can make it work, why not? Why not try? You know what? Why do we need to sit in traditionalism all the time? Frame by frame looks beautiful, but why can't we try and keep the beauty of frame by frame without killing our workers? Why is there got to be a sacrifice? What is this, a cult? Stupid. Oh, weed. Sorry, that's a weird thing to jump from, but web, yeah. Weed. Weed, yeah. Weed is, it's unfortunate that weed sounds funny when you say it, but you're right. You're absolutely right. I hope, oh my God, I hope that we don't, that weed becomes, I hope that weed stays legal and that we don't have some stupid shit where the government tries to ban it again. Because it's so useful to your mental health. I don't smoke weed, personally, but I know so many people that had, like, anxiety, depression, so many, like, mental health issues that just got solved with a little bit of either medicinal or recreational marijuana. It's really nice, honestly. It can be, like, such a mood shifter, one that you really need. Ooh. Stop taking after panic attacks. That's right. I mean, it's not for everybody, but that doesn't mean it's bad for everybody. Miyazaki's an old fart. Oh, shit. I just disagree with his kind of old world thinking. I love his movies. I love the spirit of them, and I think that they're all giant pieces of art. One of my favorite movies of all time, and it'll never stop, is Kiki's Delivery Service. Because that's a movie about being an early artist. It was intentionally a movie for women going into the manga industry, oddly enough. And I love that. But that doesn't mean that every single thing the man says is true. I disagree, respectfully. I think the man is a genius, but I also disagree with him a bit. And he doesn't need to agree with me either. I'm a stupid foreigner. All depends on what kind of weed you take and how you respond to it. Take some time to figure out what your body needs. Yeah, you know, it's a bit different, but I don't know how many of you have had to deal with like taking prescription drugs before. But as someone that has like, you know, mental stuff, I've often had to experiment with different prescription drugs for you know, through my doctor. Like, years ago, I thought I had ADHD, so I had to hop between like a couple different drugs to see like which one I responded to. And I feel like weed's kind of the same way, where different dosage, different methods of taking it, all that stuff, your body can react differently. And it could be for the better or for the worse. That's another reason why it needs to stay legal, because then you can work through medical professionals that actually understand the chemistry that goes into it and can like measure this stuff. Because doctors are smart people, they really are. Well, there you go, Mario. You at least found out. And again, I'm not saying it's for everybody. All I'm saying is that it helps many. And it can be of great use. To take it away from everyone, I think would be barbaric. But it's also not a cure-all. There's never really been a cure-all. This has been a great stream. I got to talk about weed. I got to talk about art. I don't think I'm going to drink any more coffee because I kind of feel like a headache coming on. Me and caffeine, man. Like, I feel like I used to drink so much coffee when I was in like middle school. In fact, I did drink so much coffee when I was in middle school. It was like, oh, hold on. Oh I hate my stupid toilet. Hold on. Not everyone is fit to be a teacher. Wait, what do you mean? Is that about art or about weed or? You're right though. Not everyone is fit to be a teacher. Yes. So I was as I was saying, back in middle school, I first introduced myself to coffee and I loved it. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And I really liked the hype. I think I have an addictive personality. I hate my stupid... Yeah. Yeah, I think I have a very addictive personality. Because as soon as I was introduced to coffee, I drank it like every day. There were days in middle school where I would make a full pot. Which nowadays I'm starting to realize what a waste of money for my parents. I don't even think they realized how much of a waste it was. I would make a whole pot and drink the entire thing in the morning. Because I just thought it was so cool. I remember I had a friend over one time. We stayed up nearly all night just playing Borderlands. And that was a very pleasant memory. Good friend. Good guy. I hope he's doing well. And yeah, in the morning, I introduced him to my life of drinking an entire pot of coffee. And he was like, that's so badass. And I'm like, I know. Nowadays, I can drink like maybe 2 cups. And then I get a fucking headache in my eye. And I'm like, Jesus, no, make it stop. Miyazaki being a bad teacher. Yeah. No. I think he's got a lot. He's said a lot of inspiring things too. But it's not all good. It's not all good. I mean, it'll never be all good. I'm thinking back to the documentary, The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness, which I do recommend. It's cool. But it also kind of advocates this very old world thinking about art. And it's still prevalent to this day, but I call it old world thinking. wherein if you're an artist, you need to accept that your life is going to be hell, and you will be miserable and upset, and there's no stopping it. And I don't agree with that at all. And I think it's a ridiculous standard to hold yourself to. Like, I'm sure you've heard of like the stereotype of, I love being miserable because it makes me good at art. Listen, that is 10% true, and not even in the way you think. You can be really upset one day, and you make what people call vent art, which is you're feeling miserable, and making art makes you feel better. And so you just make something that makes you happy, or it gets like your feelings out. Maybe it could be like a really angry drawing or painting or whatever. And people nowadays, they call it vent art. And you can just look up vent art and see what people make when they're feeling feelings. And that's a great example of I make great art when I'm upsetty spaghetti. And yeah, fine, okay, you're right. You're objectively right. You were upset, and then you made something that looked pretty good. And yeah, oftentimes art and inspiration can come when you're at like a low point. But the thing is, you can't rely on that. It's like when some artists or musicians would rely on drugs to write. It's like, no, you just become a drug addict. Inspiration comes from so many things, but it's also kind of random. You can encourage that inspiration, and you can get yourself in some like systems, like I did with making this comic. But it's not always going to be perfect, and inspiration doesn't come from one thing. It does not always come from you being depressed, and it does not always come from you taking drugs, and it does not always come from this and that and the other thing. I just read Miyazaki. Inspiration is so fucking random, it might as well be a god you pray to. It's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous to assume that making yourself miserable will make you better at your job. It won't. It'll actually make you much worse. Because you're miserable, and it's hard to work when you're miserable. So no, I definitely disagree with the notion that like wallowing your misery, never working out your mental issues will somehow make you a better artist. I feel like it's an arrogant thing to do, to assume that nobody can help you and you're a tortured soul that no one can ever understand. It's very childish. And I do not agree. No, no, no. Advice is in it. Yeah. The best I could do is just ramble advice. Oh, really? Gave some advice to a fan fiction writer? That's good. That's good. It's very good to share around advice with anybody, really, about anything. That's not even like an artist thing. That's just like a life thing. I remember when I worked in the factory, I had a lot of dudes that were very crafty, which probably would surprise nobody. I mean, it's a factory. Everyone there is working on like essentially industry standard arts and crafts. But yeah, all these like combined talents that understood like engineering and physics and all that shit, they were working together to make like proper shelving for the signs and other shit that we would make. And even though I really, really did not like that factory job, it was not an Amazon job or something, you know. It kind of still felt like a mom and pop shop, and I kind of appreciated that. The people there seemed to enjoy their work well enough, and seeing that kind of collaboration was nice. It was very nice. It was nice to see that these guys were collaborating so well. It was a level of professionalism that I really needed at that point in my life, to just know that it's like, oh yeah, teamwork does make the dream work. And I've just not met enough good teams, I guess. Random inspiration. Yeah, the hardest part about giving out advice in fan fiction writing space. The person you're talking to may or may not fully understand what they're wanting to make. Okay. You know, when it comes to fan fiction, it seems like a lot of inspiration could just come from the show or really just media that you are a fan of. I feel like watching the show gives you that inspiration in general. But again, I've not done enough fan fiction to really know how that works. The closest I've gotten to fan fiction is, hold on. I'm gonna break for 1 second and take a look at my video list. The closest I got to fan fiction is, does the blind dub count as fan fiction? Yeah, it's the Spampton thing. Yeah, that's basically Deltarune fan fiction. If you're writing fan fiction and want to write a good story, you need to fully understand the source material, all the aspects, from the characters to the world to the powers, if there are any. If there's a magic system, you need to have a good understanding of it. That's a very good point. I mean, that's even true if you're just writing an original work for yourself, you know? It's good to understand, like, all the aspects involved. One thing I love to do is take, like, pre-established rules and see how far I can stretch them for the sake of creativity. I've been doing that a bit in D&D. I play a lot of D&D these days. I shouldn't say a lot. I've played like 3 campaigns, but those campaigns have been fun. Which doesn't mean it's... Wait, that doesn't mean anything. Those campaigns are really good though. They've been going on for like a year or 2 now, and I enjoy them. But yeah, in D&D, it's a little bit like fan fiction because D&D has a set of rules for each like race and character and all that stuff, and I mostly fixate on narrative when it comes to that. And I've got characters that like I've played who they have pre-established like lore about their race or pre-established lore about like how their abilities work, and I try to stretch that for the sake of like an interesting narrative twist, if you get me. The blind dub is the real deal. I wanted to do a Halloween blind dub, but just like every Halloween thing, I just had no interest in pursuing it. I'll probably still do it anyways, and I can just say it now. I wanted to do Soul Eater, because that's like probably one of the most Halloween-y things you can do. I'll probably still do it though. I just like Halloween is not nearly as cool to me as Christmas. I love Christmas. I always try and do a thing for Christmas. Halloween, I just always forget. Like, time catches up to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, kind of running out of time to do the Halloween thing. Oh well. Biggest thing I got a compliment on was when I wrote a fairy tale fanfic and got praised for writing an original story in the universe, and it made sense in that world without copying the prime story. BRB going and getting some super glue. Ooh, right on. Drive safe. Well, I think a lot of people use fan fiction as a way of just writing one OC and putting that OC in a world that they already like and understand, right? Like, it's like, oh, I really love Fairy Tale and I love like the world and all its rules and everything, but I don't know how to add on to the main plot. I just know I have a character that I love that I think would sit perfectly in the Fairy Tale world. So I'm just gonna put them in and use it and use Fairy Tale as like a mold for me to just write my character further. But that's not very interesting for an audience to experience, you know? Soul Eater slaps? Yeah, it does. I remember, fun fact, that blind dub I made recently, Fire Force. First of all, I did it because a friend of mine was showing me Fire Force, and I was like, as we were watching it, I was just making jokes left and right. So I just told him in call, like, I think I'm gonna make this a blind dub. And he was like, oh yeah, do it. But also, Fire Force supposedly was made by the same guy that made Soul Eater. So that was my other reason why I wanted to do Soul Eater, was I already did Fire Force. So yeah, no, I really, I'll definitely do it at some point. Thing is though, the thing I'm working on right now is something that I've already recorded. Me and my friend Amber Gray Stoke, whom we've done a Let's Play series together of Danganronpa 2. We got together and did some improv for the Danganronpa 2 anime, and even the Danganronpa 1 anime. So I've got the audio together for that, and I'm going to begin editing that together. It's not exactly a blind dub because we're improving, so it's gonna have an improv vibe to it, but it'll be fun. It'll be great. I really liked our recording session. So I just need to go through the motions. I'm also not going to be able to record for a little while because I'm going to be having surgery next week. It's not too crazy, but it's like tonsil surgery. I'm getting my tonsils out, so I definitely won't be able to voice act. This looks weird. This looks strange. I need to fix this. Fire Force is a... Wait. Fire Force is a prequel to Soul Eater? How? They're so different. Good luck with the tonsil surgery. Yeah! I don't think it'll be too crazy. The doctor's telling me, like, I'm low risk because I'm a perfectly healthy adult that drinks water, doesn't smoke, and doesn't drink. So I have no fear when it comes to the surgery. But recovery time, I just want to know how long it is. One doctor was saying like, oh, it'll probably be a couple days, and then another one's like, oh, it'll be a week. So I'm like, shit. That's where my story took place. That's where it opened on the opportunity to write an original tale and use this source. Release the... Oh shit, hi Amber. I didn't even know you were watching. Leak the footage, release the dub. No, I need to fucking edit it first, and I'm busy drawing. I also need to send you that audio. I have it all, I got it all converted overnight, so we're good now. I only remember one joke from that cartoon, and it was the episode where the black dude and the white dude swapped races somehow. What? What? Brickleberry? Wait, what cartoon is this? Okay. For a second I thought the music stopped. soon as I read that, the music stopped. I'm doing good, Orful. I'm feeling like a minor headache, but I stopped drinking the coffee, so I'm good. You know what's kind of crazy about the surgery? So it's happening in like 5 days from now or something, and leading up to it, I can't take ibuprofen or Tylenol, or Tums. Like there's a big list of things I can't take into my body 7 days prior to the surgery for whatever reason. And you know what? I need to look at that list again to make sure I haven't taken in anything. But yeah, if I get a headache, I just have to live with it. Your musical timing is your greatest hidden strength. Thank you. I know, but I'm glad someone finally said it. Anyone seen the new Hell of a Boss? No, not yet. I'm always so slow at keeping up with Hell of a Boss. I remember I hadn't watched like most of the series until like last summer. It's good though. I get why people really like it. Okay, I gotta adjust Frank's window peak. Window peak. Peek inside the window. We're 2 episodes into season 2, but part 2 of the first season finale has yet to air because of the creator Vizzypop going into a legal battle. Oh, I didn't know that. Is it relaxing? What, the legal battle? No, I find it relaxing. Drawing, that is. Oh, gosh. I probably don't really have the money for it, but sooner or later I'd like to take the plunge into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, starting from the very beginning. You don't have the money for it? I'm pretty sure it's, oh, well, I guess you need to pay for Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, though, right? Hmm. 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 How long is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? And is it almost as long as One Piece? Because I've been watching One Piece, and I'm almost caught up. So if I can watch One Piece, then I can probably get through all of JoJo. Oh, buying the manga. Oh, well, excuse me. Vizzypop apparently wanted a non-original song to be in the final episode. Oh, oh. Oh, I see. She wanted Die Young. That's so funny. Hey there, Rape Tarot. What's up? Oh, she wanted Die Young. Oh, that's kind of wholesome. Because I think her very first viral video was a music video with one of her OCs for Die Young. It looked very good, by the way, and I think to this day it still holds up, like, visually. Like, there's some videos that animators make that become viral, like Super Mario Hyidin, I think, which was made by Scott Falco, and I still love it, but it does not look good. And Scott Falco made like an updated version recently that looks very good. I think the original has like its charm, but definitely looks very dated. That Die Young animation still looks great. Really, really cool. I think Vizzypop has always had a knack for character design. It's supposed to be a callback to a video. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was a furry music video. I mean, I didn't want to say it, but yeah. I think John began around 1987. Its most recent storyline ended around last... Oh, JoJo. Yeah. One Piece started in the early 90s, I think. So, kind of close. Still, though, is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure more episodes than One Piece? Because you can start at an earlier date but not make as many chapters. You can have like hiatuses and whatnot. Yeah, that mixed with working on Has-Been. Vivzy has given herself so much responsibility. I mean, I think she'll be able to do it because so far she's been handling a lot of the work that's gone into both these shows very professionally. So I'm sure that it'll work out in some way, but I personally, and you know what, I get it, it's a vision, but personally, I don't know. Just for the sake of a callback to like your most viral video, including Kesha, not only a Kesha song, but one of Kesha's most popular songs, Die Young. It seems like a lot of effort that you could just make your life so much easier by not dealing with it. Is anything more episodes than One Piece? That's my point. I think One Piece is legendarily super long. Although I guess what we're talking about is the manga and not so much episodes. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is only recently getting an adaptation, so it's trying to keep up with the manga. I think that's another reason why people say it's better to read JoJo, is because there's just more JoJo story in the manga than there is in the anime. Because they're trying to catch up with a lot. Cut to a bottle of ketchup. Alright, I'm gonna wrap up soon because I need to help my fam with some stuff. Hayao Miyazaki over here like, I like to draw every single page. Cut to me fucking copy and paste. It doesn't look worse at all. Whoop. There might be more volumes of JoJo than Ope. Ooh! Ope has 103, and JoJo has 130, according to Google. Wow. I mean, JoJo is considered... One Piece is considered a legendary manga and anime, but JoJo is also a legendary manga and anime. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I always thought of... I mean, so far, One Piece is still the longest anime ever, because JoJo's still playing catch-up, but... Yeah, okay. Yeah, healthier mangaka puts stuff up more seasonally, I think. I like how you use the term healthier, that's so true. The time gap between season 1 finale of Hell of a Boss Part 1 was November of last year, and the second season first episode coming out in July of this year. Yeah. Vivzy comes off as an artist first type to me, but she's got the style, will, and professionalism. I commended her first and foremost. Yeah, totally. Yeah. No matter what, I just want Hell of a Boss to come out, and I want Hasbin to come out. Do I think, like, the story will suffer if the Kesha thing doesn't work out? I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't seen the episode in the context of which it would be in. But if it doesn't work out, I mean, it's only a song, in my opinion. They could find a sound alike. They can maybe make a compromise. Who knows? But I think everyone working on it is really talented. And it's very art-driven, like you were saying. So I trust in them. They're cool people. I read that really, really weird. Yes, Orphle, I've seen Smiling Friends, but my tired brain read that as, have you seen Smiling Friends? Love fucking Smiling Friends. But yes, I have seen Smiling Friends and I like it. Very good show. That's another example of a very artistically driven show made by independents that started on the internet. You know, I'm kind of taking a break from Oni Plays because I was just kind of getting tired of their shit. I still like them, but I've just been like watching them nonstop, and I want to. I haven't really been watching like other channels for a while, so I'm taking a break from Oni Plays. But that doesn't change the fact that Smiling Friends is really, really awesome, and I'm super looking forward to what else they got. Did that... I feel like I missed something here. Did they already release the Smiling Friends Go to Brazil? And where am I supposed to watch it? Because I saw a clip of like a scene of Smiling Friends in Brazil where they like, some dude comes up to them and tries to like get money off of them. That was a funny bit, but where am I supposed to watch the show? Is it on like Adult Swim or? Because that's how I watched like most of the episodes, was just Adult Swim when it came out. Or wait, I saw it on a website. Was it Adult Swim or was it? Oh shit, it was so long ago I don't remember now. It was Adult Swim, right? They worked with Adult Swim. Yes, they did. Yeah, that's right, because there was a bumper for it. I mean, some people fucking... I mean, some people probably love more than just watching Smiling Friends. I love fucking my smiling friends. The smiling is the best part. That sounds like... I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, but it sounds fucked up. Okay. Well, you know, you hope your partner is a smiling friend. Oh gosh. Oh golly. Oh no. Hold on. On my way over in a bit. Let me just draw this head. And then I think I'll wrap for the day. This panel had a lot of characters on it, so I can see why it took me a while. Ugh. Only plays in similar videos are best in spurts. After a while, the patterns can wear on you if you marathon it. That's what I feel, yeah. Well, see, I also just have a fucking problem. Like, I get locked into patterns where I'm watching the same shit again and again until it hurts. This is what I mean about, I think I have an addictive personality. This is why I should never drink. Not even like allow myself to enjoy drinking, because I swear to God, I will be an alcoholic. I do not trust myself. Because when I get into videos, I'll just like watch them on repeat as if it's like a song that I love. Like, you know what? Just the other day, I was, Brutal Moose released a video of Gerbert, which, by the way, check out those videos if you love Brutal Moose. The latest one that he did is so fucking funny. And I was watching it, well, listening to it, really, on the car ride home from my part-time job. And I was like, oh, damn, this is so fucking funny. I remember that he did other Gerbert videos. I wonder how funny those are. And then I got into this, like, really nice pattern of, I watched like his original Gerbert, and then I went back and I listened to his older stuff until the very first Gerbert, and I was like, man, this is such a good series of videos. I love these. And then like 3 days later, I was like, that second Gerbert video that he made was really funny. I want to listen to that again. So then I listened to it on the car ride home. And then when I got home and I was drawing here, I was like, you know, the latest one that he made, that was really funny. There's a joke in there that I kind of want to hear again. Let's turn that one on and watch the whole thing. That's just my life. That's my fucking life. I always fall into these stupid patterns where I watch the same thing again and again, and I treat it like a song. And I did that with Oni Plays so much that I think I just became really sick and tired of their voices. Like, I'm sure we've all listened to songs for so long that like our favorite song suddenly becomes our least favorite song because we just heard it so much. So I think that's me with Oni Plays. And honestly, this is a pattern I have no idea how to get out of. I guess what's kind of been helping is I've been watching more shows lately. I've been finally getting into Full Metal Alchemist. That is a great show. I really didn't appreciate it the first time I watched it, but getting into it now, it's great. Great, I'm really nerding out about a lot of the lore. Y'all are tired of Oni Plays? I know a Let's Play you can watch. Yeah, that's right. Go over to Amber Greystokes' YouTube channel and watch our Danganronpa playthrough. Legitimately do. It's really funny. Genuinely. I'm not just saying that because it was something me and my friend made. It's genuinely like a great series. And Amber got a lot of subscribers because of it. I think we did a wonderful job. I stopped watching Oni Plays because life stuff, but I watched a recent Pokemon Silver episode and burst out laughing when Corey called them all boomers. Called who boomers? Oh, well, Chris is definitely a boomer. I love Chris. He's a really funny guy, and I can't wait for his video game to come out, but sometimes he does say some very boomer things. His reaction to TikTok is like one of the most boomer things. It's a reaction I hear a lot of people say, though, where it's like, not even thinking about it constructively at all, you're just like, oh, TikTok? Ugh. I was in a server, I can't remember what it was for, but I was in like some like big call, and I mentioned how I post blind dubs on TikTok, and someone there was just like, I couldn't even bring myself to be on TikTok for like 5 seconds. I wouldn't have the strength. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's just a fucking website. It's just an app. It's not poison. It's not like smoking cigarettes. Oh my god. I don't know. Some people have such weird reactions to like modern trends. I guess I've had that with shows. I've definitely had that with a couple shows that were really popular and I didn't like them. I get like a visceral reaction when I think about it. So that's kind of how I understand it. Oni Plays compilations are, yes they are. God, those are really great. Oh, also, another way to advertise the Let's Play that I was in is if you don't want to start necessarily from the beginning, we have compilations too. We break up every section of Danganronpa 2 into chapters. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. If you don't want to go through all the episodes, totally get it. We have a compilation of every chapter. And honestly, the compilation is the best bits. So if you want to follow the story because you care about the game, you can do that. If you just want a bunch of laughs, it's like an hour long of funnies the whole way through. Definitely recommend the compilation. It's great. Listening to Triforce, by the way, Amber, do you like my salesman techniques? Do you like that I hope you appreciate my my plugs, because I want people to watch it, because I'm very proud of it. Listening to Triforce podcast is very boomer. Parion Flax will go on anime and any new thing rants regularly. Oh my god, anime. There's not a boomer alive that likes anime. The second you say it, they're like, anime. Who is it? Cox and Krendor. Krendor, in like one of those animations, was complaining about like how there's anime characters brought into League of Legends and how he's really like ugh about it. And it's like, now I've not seen the full conversation there, but it really seriously just felt like he was like, gross, they're bringing in all these anime characters. That's stupid. And like that's just the beginning, middle, and end of the frustration. The show is primo. Thank you. To be passed down for generations. Oh yeah. My uncle is also helping me find upgraded parts for my gaming PC. Ooh! Catching up, boy. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I was so happy when I upgraded my PC. Because I was, I did it because I stream more. And I wanted my PC to be able to handle streaming and, like, modern games. Excuse me. And, I think that stream is still archived, too. I think the stream is literally called, like, testing my new graphics card or something. And you can see on camera my, like, elation when I turned on, I think it was Sonic Unleashed, and I was able to run around with no lag at all. And I was just like, oh my god, yes, thank you, thank god. Now, I have a very good processor. It's called, like, a Tomahawk processor or something. I liked all the reviews for it, but I will admit that my graphics card is still pretty underpowered. It could be a lot better, but graphics cards are so expensive. Oh my god. These fucking like NFT bullshit soy boys out there just buying up all the best graphics cards for ludicrous prices and making the price go up further and further so they can set up their stupid render farms and render out their bullshit made up coins. Fuck them. Oh my god. If I had another reason to hate cryptocurrency and everything it stands for, it's upping the price of graphics cards. I just want to play video games, which is what it's for. I want to play video games and render 3D models. That's what it's for, not for rendering your stupid... I'm not getting into this. Everybody knows. Everybody knows how much I hate fucking NFTs. Ugh. To be fair, he means that it's only really similar looking characters. You know, in Smash Bros. They put in Fire Emblem characters, and you cannot tell that. Yeah. You know what's it brings up a good point in anime in general, which is probably more what he's talking about. Anime will have a lot of really similar looking characters across a lot of shows. I will still defend that term because each anime show will tend to have its own art style, but things like Fairy Tail and Sword Art Online, they are popular shows and they kind of look similar. They do. And Fairy Tail and let's say Cells at Work, the character design of the characters, they look distinct, but the art style is kind of generic anime, if you feel me. Like, Soul Eater looks like it has a Soul Eater art style. But Fire Force looks more generic, if that helps to understand it. And the art style in a lot of anime, I said this in my Cowboy Bebop analysis, which is very long, but I'm still working on it. I've said in that One Piece looks way different from Bleach, which looks way different from Naruto, which looks way different from Pokemon, which looks way different from Hamtaro. So it's like, animes do have different art styles. It's not like in the olden days when people would say like, oh, they'd point at like any given anime, they'd point at Sailor Moon and be like, oh, is that Pokemon? It's like, no, it is not. And first of all, Sailor Moon looks nothing like Pokemon. Smite did add Nick characters to the roster. To be fair, Zim is a god, and to say otherwise will invoke the wrath of Zim. Praising Zim will also invoke the wrath of... Is this Smite memes that I don't know? I played Smite for like a day or two, because my friend, he really loved League, and he was trying to get me into League, but I didn't really like the top-down perspective at the time. And then my friend was telling me, oh, well, Smite is like League, but it's not top-down, so you may get into that. And I was like, yeah, okay. I was trying to be like, as like optimistic as I could, because my friend really did want to play video games with me, but he only really liked games like League, so we were trying to make it work. And I did kind of get into Smite, and I was getting kind of hyped, like, oh my god, I finally found a game that I like. But we didn't play Smite for too long, and he kind of just went back to League of Legends. It's fine. We found other games to play together, but I always remember Smite as like the game I almost liked. I'm glad to see it's still around. I was really, really worried it was going to be one of those mini online games that just get the boot. Like, what was that one game? I know Pregame Discharge talked about it. Battleborn or something? It was like a game that that was on for a very short amount of time. Like, it released, and then the same year it released, it ended because of inactivity. It was like, that might not have even been Battleborn, but whoever I'm thinking of, it was just such an embarrassing thing to have happened. It's the type of thing where you hear it and you almost cringe, like, oh, those poor people that put in all that work for this stupid company that just wanted to like go off this like online gaming market, and it just didn't work out. It's so disappointing. I could so imagine being a part of that company and then just getting like the call that it's like, hey, we need to shut down the servers. No one's playing our game. Oh, so depressing. But yeah. Mini anime tend to have the energy of books in motion, a long-form story that's meant to be a long haul. A lot of them are adaptations. It's only natural, of course, there's expectations. About art style? I mean, even if you're making a manga, though, you can have a distinct art style. I feel like I have a distinct art style that's not really... It's inspired by others, but I can't really compare it to one thing. There was a time where I was definitely aping Gravity Falls and Steven Universe, but now I've adapted from like anime as well. So the style's kind of like it's its own thing, really. But you'll go onto like webtoons, for example, and this is not me trying to like toot my own horn. It's just my first example. But if you go onto webtoons, you'll see like a lot of a lot of comics, manga, manhwa. I don't really know, but you'll see a lot of stories kind of just look like anime. like it'll be like a very generic looking like anime or manga style. That it doesn't really seem to have an identity in itself. And then you'll have the ones that do. It's like, it just seems like the natural order of things. It doesn't even mean that your comic or your show are bad, because the story could still be very good. It's just the art style's kind of whatever. I mean, that's the case with Pokemon. Pokemon's art style, to me, is really bland. And you can enjoy it for what it is, because not everyone is in it for just the art style. In fact, you could have a really good looking art style and have a really crap story too. But I think it's fair to point out that anime will often rely on one art style just so that their story has an art style at all. It's the same thing with even Western animation, like the Cal Arts style, the Cal Arts smile. Oh, of course there's exceptions. Sorry. It's kind of like Suture Armor and kind of anime, kind of cartoony. Suture Armor. Oh yeah, you talked about that. Is it? Is it? I saw it. I don't know. I think Suture Armor looks different enough. I need to read more of it though. To we know. It is definitely a mixture of cartoon and anime. That's definitely true. Because it started out with like Western inspirations, and then I just kind of took more anime into it. I kind of need to get going, and I can't draw this fucking nose. Similar vibes. Yeah, I could agree with that. Based on my limited knowledge of Suture Armor. I'm saying it right, suitor armor, because I assume it's about finding a suitor based on my limited knowledge of that comic. No, you know what? You know what I got the most inspiration for is webcomics. Because I wanted my art style to look like three things. I wanted it to look like Glass Scientist, Paranatural, and the artist Red Minus. That's probably the closest I can compare my art style to, because I literally wanted to be exactly like them. That being said, I love Red Minus. They don't upload nearly enough. I think they're like just doing other shit these days, but they are so cool, and I love them, and I love all their videos. Probably one of my biggest inspirations that I don't think I've ever expressed. Yeah. They're great. They're awesome. I love them. They make some of the best videos. Good luck again with the procedure. Yeah. I'm sure the surgery will go like just fine. It's I'm like low risk for it, but I imagine I won't be able to talk for a little while. I assume it's gonna be exactly like when I got my wisdom teeth taken out. Like, first couple days are gonna suck ass, and then I'll get better by like maybe the third day and start feeling a lot better. Hopefully I can get off the painkillers quick. I hate being on painkillers. But yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll even do an art stream when I start feeling a little bit better, because I'll be off work for a little bit too. Anyways. Okay. See you later, alligator. I need to do more of these where I wake up and do art, because I could do that on days when I need to go to my part-time job. Do you think I should start with more throwaway projects just to get my footing, baby steps and whatnot? Oh, yes. Absolutely, yes. I've always like tried to recommend small projects so that you can get your footing, like you said, but also so it's not intimidating. I think so many people start out trying to make a big complicated story, whereas it's a lot easier and less frightening to do like fan fiction, for example. Amber started out making a fan fiction comic, and it looked great and was very original, even if it was based on a pre-established source. And I won't speak for her, but I figure that was a very big step in her artistic journey. Now she's a great artist. So yeah. Also, me and blind dubs, I started doing blind dubs because I was just taking my audition, my improvised audition audio for an Orin Academy Abridged series someone was doing, and I just put visuals to it because I thought it was a funny audition. And then that was the first like 2 or 3 blind dubs of Orin Academy. So it was very low pressure. I didn't have anything in my head like, oh, this has to be like really great. I didn't have any expectations. I just thought like, this seems fun. I'm gonna make it good. But I don't have a lot riding on it. So yeah, I'd say throwaway projects, pretty good. Yeah, get your footing, baby steps. I think these are all good lessons to take away. Good luck. And if you're on, which I think you are, if you're on the Discord, if you want to share it, we have an original content hashtag. So if you want to drop it there, I'll check it out. Anybody that's interested can check it out. So yeah, go for it. Okay. Okay. I'm out of here. See you later, alligator. I already said that.